Hello everyone, and welcome to our 7th edition of the Orada Tech Hub webinar. We have today, as you know, the same guest as the last time, Zsuzsanna Kovács. Thank you, Zsuzsanna, for joining us again, this time in person.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's also a pleasure for us to have you here. Zsuzsanna will tell us in a minute about herself and her work at GitLab and about our subject today. But before diving into our presentation today, I just want to remind everybody that on 15th of December there's another edition of the Make IT Orada program where tech professionals can enroll in the program to fund their ideas. So make sure you go to makeitorada.ro. I guess that's the correct, let's check if this is the correct web address. makeitorada.ro and join the program. Okay, so Zsuzsanna, can you tell us more about what we are going to discuss today?
Yes. So today I came with a presentation about best practices of hiring remotely. So in the beginning of the presentation, I will be talking about how the recruitment team functions at GitLab, how our organization looks like, and then I will be talking about the hiring and interviewing process, and how people who are interested joining GitLab in the future can learn more about us, how they can prepare for a position at GitLab, and then the actual interviewing process, how it will look like if they join us.
Okay. So in between this, we'll have a short break, as we always do. Yes. And for that, please go on oradatechhub.ro/live. I'm gonna do it with you right now. So all of you who are watching us live, if you're not on oradatechhub.ro/live, please do it right now, because you'll be able to see the live video and also see and interact with us, ask questions on Slido. So in the middle of our talk today, we'll have a short break where you can put us questions through Slido. Then you can also ask during the presentation, during our talk, people can ask us questions on Slido. So for that, you need to go to oradatechhub.ro/live, and everything will be clear.
Yes.
So, you can tell us more about GitLab and what you do there. And
so for those who haven't been here at the earlier webinar, this is the second one, I was talking about how GitLab as a company functions, how we function as a remote company since the beginning of the existence of GitLab, and I would like to share with the audience why I'm doing this. The motivation behind the presentation is to help people to transition to a remote office or a remote company, to help organizations change how their work processes are existing today, to help today the recruitment teams and also the people who want to join us, or they just want a remote job. And please note that not every company is the same. If a company is remote, it doesn't mean that they will be exactly like us. We are trying our best to help our candidates and employees. And my name is Zsuzsanna Kovács. I was born and raised in Oradea. Currently I live in Budapest, and I work for GitLab for 2 years. And I'm a member of the technical sourcing team. Today, Loredana Iluka will be here in the back end. She will be helping us with questions in the sidebar where any viewer can send their question to us. There we will be able to view that.
Yeah, so people, if they ask questions during our presentation today, your colleague will be here to answer them.
Yes.
Okay?
Either her or me verbally, but we will be checking everyone's questions on the sidebar. So if in the meantime you have a question and you don't want to wait until the end, until the questions and answers section, feel free to send them now.
Perfect.
So I would like to quickly tell a few words about GitLab as a software as a service company for those who don't know who we are. Yep. We are a complete development, security and operations platform. So this means that if you're a developer, you would have to use different tools for the different parts of the development lifecycle. But if you use GitLab, then you can see here, you can use one tool for every single part of the development stage from the beginning till the end, and you don't have to switch in between different tools.
It's a one-in-all solution.
Yes, exactly. And also it helps teams to move faster, as you don't have to constantly switch in between tools, you have it all in one place. Then who we are as a company, GitLab, we are 102,000
1,200
yes,
people.
sorry, 1,200 team members across the globe, spread in 68 countries, and you can see on this map exactly where our coworkers live. And you can also see that we have 100,000 organizations who work with our software, and we also have 3,000 contributors. This means that they are not GitLab employees, they are outside of GitLab, but they are contributing to our open source software.
Okay, yeah. Because you mentioned last time when you were in our webinar about having people that are involved in your project.
Yes.
Because part of your of what you do or everything is open source.
Yes.
Or part of it, I guess.
Most of it is open source, and anyone can contribute with a line of code, send an issue, and then we will merge it if the development team considers it's a great idea.
Okay, so just one more thing. Sorry for interrupting you, but I think it's very important for the people that are watching us to know that GitLab has no offices, or at least no offices where a lot of people come in. I guess there are some type of offices, but not...
GitLab doesn't have a single office. We do not have a physical building, which is called GitLab Office. We solve every single process of our existence remotely. We, as I mentioned, if you want to work from a co-working office, then you can go there and the company will reimburse you the costs of it. If you want to meet your team members, you can go together with them to a co-working office. So there is a chance to be physically together with co-workers, but we do not have any physical buildings, offices.
So if I want to mail a physical letter to GitLab, where should I mail it?
Yes, you can do that. I believe you have to ask this question from the people operations team, but in these cases it will be probably the house of one of our team members where you will send it.
It's so different from everything that other companies are doing, but it's very interesting in this context. When everybody has to learn how to work remotely and solve problems remotely. So sorry for interrupting.
And everybody has to learn how to use GitLab. So if when we start working at GitLab, our onboarding training consists of an issue list on GitLab. So if you're a developer or you're new to, so it means that it's just the same as developers use it for coding, but then you
use it internally.
Yes. So it's called dog fooding, which means that we use our own product for our own internal processes. So if you, I can show you an issue. If you see here, these are all issues, and so the thing is that you have to learn how to use GitLab, how to create an issue, how to make a merge request, how to understand what is what and where, and that will be useful for editing the handbook, which is my next slide. So the handbook is a huge document which consists of 8,400 pages if we would print it today. And this basically is a central repository of how we run the company.
Yeah.
So our internal processes, rules, decisions, everything is in this document, which is available for anyone. So if you click on this link, you will be able to view the handbook. This is visible for anyone from the outside, and if we internally decide to make a change, for example, in a job description or something, we will start with an issue in GitLab, editing this handbook page.
Okay.
And if you are not a GitLab team member, but you see a spelling mistake, or you want to change something, or you have a proposal to implement something new, you can also make for yourself a GitLab profile, and you can send your own idea in an issue, saying, hey GitLab, I think this would be a good idea. So anyone feel free to send us your ideas.
A very open company, as I said last time.
Yes.
This is the word that comes to my mind when I hear these things. It's an open company, very open.
Yes, we try to share everything with outside people, to be as transparent as possible, because it's a win-win situation for everyone, because candidates know who we are, how we proceed, also our clients, and so on. Now I will talk a little bit about the recruitment team structure. So this information will be useful for people in HR. And then after the slide, we will talk about the interviewing process itself. So just quickly about the organization of the recruitment team. This is not the whole HR. We also have other teams in the people operations, like legal and finance and so on. But the recruitment consists of recruiters, candidate experience specialists, and sourcers. I am a technical sourcer, and we divide the recruiter and the sourcer in the sense that the sourcer's role is to find the qualified candidates, reach out to them, bring as many qualified as possible, and then the recruiter takes over the role, and they are the ones who do the screens and not the sourcers. Yes, and you can also see how it's divided. We have a different team for the technical roles, for the engineering, and another one for the non-technical roles. This is my team. I'm very proud of them. You can also see how we are all across the globe, and we rarely can meet. Hopefully in the future we will have again a contribute event.
So I see 3 continents, or?
Yes, 3 continents.
It's interesting. Who's the boss?
Anastasia Przegockaja is our manager. And currently she's on maternity leave, and now Chris Cruz is the leader of the team. He's the most experienced of us.
So it's Russians and Americans can work together.
Of course, we are all the same here at GitLab. Then quickly.
That's so impressive. Putting people from different cultures and different, having different viewpoints and everything, and to work together in the same direction.
Yes.
Something huge.
Well, we all have the same values. When we hire a new employee, we check the values fit. So if they represent the same values as the company, then they will be definitely a good match, regardless of their geological location or any other criteria.
So you have a specific process to determine
Yes, I will talk about that as well later.
Perfect.
So the sourcing process framework, this is again for the recruitment, people from the recruitment who are viewing, just quickly going through. So we have an intake session with the hiring manager and the recruiter. So everyone, the sourcer, recruiter, and hiring manager sits down. It can be either a video call when we are synchronously there at the same time, or it can be asynchronously, which means we open... No, it means that we can also record if one person can't join, but it can also be in a written format, which means that the recruiter opens an issue in GitLab, and then he creates a template about all the details of the job description and the location and whatever is needed for the position. and he adds the hiring manager and the sourcer and whoever else will be working to fill that role. And there the hiring manager will fill it in, like I need this and this and this skill, or I need a person in that time zone, or so on. So sometimes we don't talk verbally or join a meeting to inform each other about the new positions opening. You just go to that issue, read it, ask your questions if you have, and then everything is clear for everyone. After this, the talent mapping starts. So the sourcer starts to create a pool of possibly good candidates. This one will be sent over to the hiring team for calibration, which means that the hiring manager will double check the profiles and let the sourcer know if they are a good fit or not. After that, we start to reach out to these candidates, and if they are interested and qualified, then they will go to a screening call, which is set up by the sourcer, and then the recruiter. So the sourcer sends a Calendly link to the candidate. The Calendly link means that you can select a time from the other's calendar.
Oh yeah, I use Calendly.
Yes. So you don't have to waste time with scheduling, giving options, and then that's not good for them. Yes.
Waiting for the answer.
Yes. They just go there, they see the recruiter's calendar and select the time which is the best for them. And so then if the screening call went well, then the candidate is moved to the next stage of the process. A few more words about our new outbound hiring model. So usually a company has a jobs page where they advertise their existing openings. Then people select an opening, apply for it, send their resume, and then the recruiter will, or the sourcer will review the applicants. At GitLab, we changed a bit this process. Now people can join our talent community, which means I will show you the talent community link. Here you can add your details, CV, select the department you're interested in, and you will end up in our database. We will be able to view your resume.
Okay.
But you are not applying for one specific role. You will be in the talent community. We made this decision because we want to be a bit more mindful about selecting the best candidates on the market. And before, we had lots of applicants who didn't really match the hiring criteria. And this took a lot of time for the sourcer and recruiter to go through and select them. Yes, because people really loved the idea of working remotely before these times when very few companies were remote. So everyone was applying to us even if they didn't fit our criteria. After this, we try our best to put a huge emphasis on diversity and inclusion. So using this outbound hiring model, we can also reach out to people who maybe would not dare to apply for a position. So we don't work only with those who apply, but we also intentionally go to those people who might have who for sure have the skills but don't dare to apply because they feel they couldn't fit in, or they don't have enough experience. And this is also a very nice way to help those people who in other ways wouldn't apply. And quickly, these were my in a nutshell, short about the recruitment processes at GitLab. But if the viewers have questions about these, please feel free to send them in the sidebar in the questions. And also please check our handbook page, because there you can see more details, like descriptions of how the sourcing team works, descriptions of all our processes. So yes, I'm checking if we have any questions in the sidebar.
Yeah, I'm just refreshing the page right now. So it looks like we don't have any questions right at this moment, but I think people will come back later.
Yes, so we can move to the Slido, right?
Okay, so right now if you're watching us live, as I told you, please go on oraltechhub.ro/live, and on the right side, you can see in a moment. You'll be able to see our questions, and please choose the right answer for you. Okay, so here we have the first question. What type of interview do you prefer? Okay, so this question is me being
Yes, so the interview means that do you prefer to meet, as let's say you apply for a job.
Okay, so I'm in the position of applying for a job.
Yes. Do you prefer to meet the future employer face to face in an office building? Do you prefer to have a video call with the person, or a phone call, or the asynchronous video? Maybe people don't know this exists. This means that I've seen it at one of the companies.
Okay.
That you receive the question and you make a video of yourself answering the interview question when you have time, and then you send it to the recruitment team, and when they have time, they review your video answers. So this exists also in the world today. It's very interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Yes.
So I'll choose.
So I will say video, because I can vote as well, I suppose. Otherwise, I can't see
the results.
The results, yes.
Yeah. So it's 50-50, mostly. Face to face. Yeah, that's like, sliders should work on this. We have how many percent? Yeah, 114% of people. So
nice. So we can go to the next question.
Yeah. Okay.
What is your favorite interviewing tool? So this is the software what I'm asking. Do you prefer to use Zoom, Google Hangouts, Skype, or something other? And if it's something else, please share with us later when we will, in the questions and answers chat section, so we can learn from you as well.
Okay.
I think I prefer Zoom so far, but I'm sure there are lots of other opportunities. Okay. Ooh, we have one person who said we'll share it in the chat box. Exciting.
Good. So we have 4 people that answered. 5. We wait till everybody votes.
Yes.
Okay. So most people they prefer Zoom. Yes. For interviews, given the circumstances, I think it's kind of obvious.
Yes, I think we can move to the next one.
So let's go to the next question.
How many interview rounds are enough, but not too much? Some companies have lots of rounds of interviews, like even 6 or 7.
Wow.
And usually if you want to make sure you selected the right person, you introduce them to many members of your team.
Okay.
So you check the team fit, how they get along with each other, and so on. So that's why more rounds of interviews are needed. And
it also depends on the position, I guess.
Yes, depends on the
position. The position.
Yes.
Along with the process.
And also if there are technical rounds where they have to do a coding test or something, then it can be more. So I would say 3, maybe. Yeah, most of people said 3. Yeah. So far.
I voted for 4.
Okay.
Because at that point I lose my interest.
Yeah.
But till then it's fine.
Great. We can move to the next one.
Yep.
If being rejected, how would you prefer to be informed? Laurentiu? How would you prefer?
Well, I would think if they're men enough, they would call.
Yeah, okay.
So that's my answer.
I would choose email.
I mean, I like to hear and get all the feedback from, not just from the words that are said, but the tone and everything.
Yeah.
It will be, for me, it would be a more complete feedback.
Uh-huh. Yeah, makes sense that you would like to, and also you could ask questions while you talk. I mean, you can also ask questions in email later.
Of course, but I'm not working in a type of organization that you're working in, so probably this is why I see everything interacting in person and physically.
Yeah.
So probably I'm not that used working remotely.
So did you vote?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I think I'm the only one that voted for a call.
Most people would prefer an email. Okay.
Okay, so I think we have one more or two more.
Yeah, I think one.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Which part of the webinar sounds the most interesting for you, the viewer, and also for you, Laurentiu? Which of these are the most excited about so far?
So we have the recruitment process, the interviewing, the contracts, and informing the candidates how to prepare to be successful. So what's more interesting for the people watching us today or the recording? For me, it would be the contracts.
Okay. I would say informing candidates how to prepare to be successful.
Yep. Okay, so people are still voting. So informing candidates how to prepare to be successful. What's this stage comes at the beginning or at the end?
This refers in my presentation about how GitLab sends preparation material for applicants. So if you apply, I will share it with you later about examples of websites, preparation material, and so on. So this way we try our best to make sure that if a person is motivated, they want to work for us, and they are ready to learn a bit more before an interview starts, they have the material for that. Yes. And do we have more questions?
No, I don't think so.
Then we can go back to the presentation.
Yeah, so most people chose your...
Yes, the preparation material.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to know. We will try our best at GitLab to add even more details in that. So the second part of the presentation is about the hiring processes. This will be helpful for people who want to apply for a role or want to update their company's jobs pages to add more information for future applicants. So one important thing is how we try to inform the candidates, as I mentioned before. We have a jobs family page. I will show you this. So this page here, first of all, has a video where a recruiter is talking with a support engineer about the support teams. Now I selected randomly a role, let's say the support engineer. We talk about this one. And so the candidate has a view already about members of the support team, after which they can read, so it's not a job description or like a job ad. This is a job family. This is a page which contains lots of information that are important for an applicant in order to succeed through the hiring interviewing process. So you can read the grades, the seniority levels. If you scroll down, you can see if you will grow later in the role, then where you can grow. What you have to do to grow in order to grow. Then you can also read about how working at GitLab is just shortly. Then here, as I mentioned, how to grow in the role. Later, if you're a senior support engineer or staff engineer, what other responsibilities you will have. Then you can also read details about how to climb the career ladder and you can also check how you will be measured, which I think is amazing, because every time I applied for a position, I was worried, what if I won't be able to make it on the long run in the next months or years. Okay. And I've been always asking the recruiter or the hiring manager, please tell me what you expect from me if I start to work for you, because I don't want to feel I'm not ready for the job or not able. And this is something I really like about our job family pages, that you can click on the links and read in details about what performance indicators we have, so you will know beforehand, if I start working in this role, what do they expect from me?
Yes. So everything is mapped out.
Yes.
So you know what's expected of you and what you should do.
Yes.
And well, from my experience, this is pretty unique.
Yes.
There are not that many companies, and I think this is a great example of how to do it and how to improve the hiring process and make it easier to find more talent. Because a lot of people, if you're asking a lot of employers in our community also, in other communities here in Romania and internationally, everybody is talking about the lack of enough people to work. So the workforce in the IT sector has a lot of demand.
Yes,
there's a lot of demand for workforce here.
I do agree with you that employers have to fight for the best programmers.
Yeah.
So if a candidate has a nice experience and background and professional history behind them, they can choose from lots of companies to work for. So why would they choose the one which doesn't even share enough information about them on their website?
That's right.
Why would they choose to go through many rounds of interviews to finally find out what are the expectations from them if they start working at that company? So this is why GitLab tries to share everything with people, so they know what to expect, what will be expected from them later.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention this because I think this can be an advantage, especially in these times when more companies are hiring remotely. So the competition gets even it's higher and higher.
Yes,
and it's harder and harder.
But there are lots of employers with lots of open positions, so everyone will find that the company which fits the best their personality.
Yes,
their
I'm
values.
talking from an employer position. It's harder to get those qualified people.
Yes.
If you don't have this type of hiring process.
Exactly. Yes, companies have to keep the pace and constantly iterate and constantly make their processes better and faster and easier for candidates, because they can choose another one if they want to.
So just the last question on this, and we'll move further. So how did you get to this process?
Well, usually at GitLab, because everyone can contribute, people's ideas are listened to, so nobody was afraid of speaking up, sharing their opinion, giving their feedback.
Okay.
So we are here today because each and every member of the GitLab team, not only the recruitment, both the engineering and sales and marketing, added their ideas how to improve it.
Yeah.
So,
and also the past candidates, not just the current employees, because people come and go.
So I've seen examples of a back-end engineer giving us advice about our job descriptions.
Okay.
She told us that, hey, I don't find this and that, okay, can we improve that? And we improved that. And her point of view as an engineer is totally different than my point of view as a person from recruitment. Yeah. So this is why all of us is sharing their experience.
So that's the advantage of being an open company.
Yes.
And a company that is open to feedback.
Yes.
And not just hearing it, but also implement it.
Yes, we try our best to listen to each of them and to implement and make it better. Then just to finish my thought about informing candidates and the job family pages, here the candidate can also read the full hiring process. So every single interview stage they will go through. Each and every one of the job families has a description like this. So you know, if I want to join the recruitment team, I will have, I don't know, 3 rounds. If I want to join the backend engineering, I will have 4 rounds. And you can see on my screen that a candidate, before even applying to a role or before starting the interviewing process, they will know beforehand that I will have this many rounds. Then they can also access our compensation package, which means that if you are an applicant, we have your email address in our database. You click on this link and then you will be able to view how much we would pay for this position in your country. So we have different packages for different countries because we couldn't, it wouldn't be...
yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's different from country to another.
It's different from country to country, and also the contract is different from country to country.
Yeah.
And on this compensation link, you can see what you will get if you get this job, and you can decide beforehand. If you already earn much more, then you won't apply. If you don't, then you will. So it's again transparency. We don't go through many rounds with a candidate who already earns 3 times that much. We don't waste the time of anyone. Then, yes, so quickly, I think I've shared everything from our job family pages. I think I haven't told yet the viewers about how to prepare for an interview.
Yeah, you didn't mention that.
I mean, how to learn about the specific team. So we do have links. Yes, like projects you might work on. Here you can see exactly the technologies you will be using at your job. You can prepare, you can refresh. Let's say if it's a support engineer, they must have Linux experience in order to work for GitLab. But if you haven't used Linux for 2 years, then you will be able to see in our projects that the team is using that one. So you can refresh your knowledge and be even more prepared for the interview. Great, but we also have lots of other resource material links because every single job family is different. Then the interviewing itself, this is also something very unique. So I'm not talking about the general ways of interviewing candidates, which at every company is the same. They check your resume, they have several rounds of interviews, maybe technical rounds, then a reference check, then a background check, and then you get an offer. So usually this is the process at companies, but at GitLab we are a bit different because before having an interview with the recruiter, you can already watch a video about the recruiter. So they made short videos about themselves, really just like 2 minutes, and
so you know them better than they know you.
Might be. So this video helps the candidates to be a bit more familiar, so they won't talk with a total stranger. It's not just the name and the title. You know that where they are, where they live. They tell the candidates that the dog might bark or the children might scream, and that's totally okay. So we don't expect people who have an interview to be in a completely silent place, or there's nothing wrong having background noise. So this helps candidates to ease up a bit before the interview. Then they can also check their future teams. So as I mentioned, here you can view a video about the support team, but if you type whatever UX team call at GitLab, then you can check also the UX teams, one of their weekly meetings, because some of our meetings are shared on YouTube to outside viewers. So if you would like to learn more about the specific team, just type it in Google or YouTube, and you might find out more about that one, team at GitLab. Then, yes, using Guide. This is a tool. I'm telling this to people in recruitment. This looks like this. So here the candidate receives this page where they can access the candidate, the recruiter's information, LinkedIn profile, GitLab profile, and the video. See?
Okay, so this is a tool you developed, or is
no,
it
this is
a third-party tool
yes,
that
this
you
is
use?
a third-party tool helping candidates and recruitment communicate with each other easier and making the applicants' lives easier. Because here you can read lots of information about us, our values, which are very important, and other things. And you can also see the process, what you have to expect.
Okay.
Awesome. Then, yes, I think compensation visible for applicants, I have shared this information.
Yeah.
And our last slide for today is the contracts and benefits. So this page, I will quickly share with the viewers that if they will work for GitLab, they will 100% be hired as a full-time employee, and 90% sure they will have a permanent contract, and they will also have lots of PTO days. So this means that we have no ask must tell policy, which means that you don't have to ask for permission from your manager to go on a vacation, but you must tell your manager that you're going on a vacation, so they don't count on you on those days. Then the contract types, GitLab team members are either contractors, either employees of GitLab, or employees of another professional employer. So professional employer organization that's together. So depending on in which country you live, because GitLab can't have an entity in all 68 countries, or at the moment we don't have, we might have in the future. So for these countries, you can also access the contract site here. So for these, you can read what type of employment we have in Australia, what type we have in Ukraine or Lithuania, or so on. So this is again a publicly available information if you want to know what kind of contract you will receive. In Romania, people are hired through a professional employer organization. Yes.
Okay, so it's a PFA.
No, that's the contractor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you're a contractor, then you're an individual entrepreneur. You have to open your own mini company, and you are sending an invoice to a company. But if you are an employer, an employee of a professional employer organization, that means that a company from Romania is hiring you as their employee. Yeah. And
they have a contract with GitLab for those services.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And in some countries you are directly the employee of GitLab, because in that country GitLab has an entity.
I guess most contracts are like from a legal business to business. So people have to set up some kind of company, and then.
Depending on the country, you can check this page I'm showing now to the viewers. You can see what's happening in Hungary, what's happening in Romania. I don't know about the percentages, how many of this, how many of that. I just know that it's a mixture of these three possibilities. What's
important is that everything is presented in the beginning, so you know about it.
Yes, you can freely decide. Do I want to be an individual entrepreneur paying my own taxes, and or do I want to be an employer or an employee? So yes, it's everyone's decision. Quickly about the benefits, we have mental health coaching sessions. Now this was introduced this year due to the changes in the world. Then we have parental leave and return toolkits. Again, these are also accessible on the handbook page. We also have office supply reimbursements, and we also have tuition reimbursements, and many others, which on the benefits page can be accessed by anybody.
So the tuition reimbursement means that if I signed up for a course or a university, and that degree is helping me professionally, GitLab is reimbursing.
Yes.
That for me?
Yes. So this means that you. Let me check it.
Okay. So everybody who's watching can.
Yes, can access this
can
website.
Yeah.
I can't find it. Yes.
No
So the tuition reimbursement means that if you you can sign up to a master's degree or a bachelor's degree or an online course or a conference in another country,
Okay.
or buying a book, or anything that's related to your professional development and to your learning. These can be reimbursed. Of course, they have to be approved. Someone has to check.
Of course, yeah.
Because if you are in engineering and you want to learn about HR, probably that type of reimbursement won't work, because that's not your specialty, not your job. But if it's related to your own workplace or duties, then it will very much probably be reimbursed and approved by your manager. Yes, so this is how we help our employees to grow in their roles, to learn and to thrive, and we feel it's working, and people are growing a lot inside GitLab and stepping ahead in the career ladder.
That's great. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
I'll do it again. So if you're watching live this talk, this presentation, please go to oratechhub.ro and ask Zsuzsanna a question. She's here to answer your questions. So on oratechhub.ro/live, in the right side you'll see the Slido widget where you can ask Zsuzsanna your questions.
Yes.
I also asked a lot of questions. Sorry for interrupting the presentation, but I thought that those things might be interesting for our viewers, especially because most of our viewers are from Oradea and the surrounding cities, mostly from Romania, and the interviewing experience, this experience of looking for a job might be very, very different from
yes, definitely.
the process you have at GitLab.
I am sure that the traditional old school way of hiring and helping candidates is totally different in what I was used to when I used to live in Romania and work here. It was totally different than what GitLab is doing, I agree.
Okay. Do you think this model can be applied to any kind of company? Any kind of similar companies like GitLab?
Yes. I believe there are some things that are financially that need financial background. So you have to buy certain tools. You have to set up certain softwares. But small things like sharing on a website as much information as possible is for free.
Okay.
Helping candidates to be prepared when they come to a technical interview is for free. Sharing information about what's inside the company, putting a YouTube video about the recruitment team, putting a video about the hiring manager, about the team itself is again for free. So I believe that companies who are in Romania or other countries which are not as developed as other countries, or they are small companies and they cannot finance those tools, I do believe that there is still a lot of space to grow for them, and they can already implement today these new things, because it really just takes some time for them.
And from my point of view, I don't think that it's necessary for them to hire remotely to use these principles, because they can be applied also for companies that are looking to hire people locally. Would work from an office.
Yes, well, the recruitment process can be absolutely similar at a remote company and at another one which has offices, because you can interview candidates through video calls if you have an office.
Okay.
And so on. So I don't think that would be a problem that you have an office and then you can't do certain things. I just hope that companies, employers and recruitment teams will be a bit more open-minded, a bit more transparent. They will try their best to help the candidates, because so far I've seen that they just reject people. They just try to find why the candidates are not a good match for this position, but they never ever try to help the candidates to be ready when they get to the point of a technical interview with a hiring manager. So these are things that we can do to help each other. And if anyone would like to learn more about these, or they would like to apply for a position at GitLab, they can also apply. They can join our talent community. They can reach out directly to us, sourcers, recruiters. You can find us on LinkedIn and you can send us a message with any kind of questions, or if you want to learn more about a specific position. So please feel free to reach out to us. We are here for you. We are here basically 24/7 because somebody is working across the globe and will be there to answer your questions. And I hope the future of recruitment and hiring and working will change a bit into this direction.
I'm actually, right now, I'm thinking that probably not all the process that you have at GitLab, but a lot of this, of the process you have of hiring remotely, either people want it or not, because of the circumstances and because of what would follow in terms of regulations and also in terms of what people perceive as being safe and normal, will change.
Yeah.
So more people would like at least a part of the hiring process to be online. Even the position needs to be, if I need to be here for a position, if I need to go to an office for the position, I would probably like to find as much things as I can find online, and then go and have just a few rounds and
yes, I agree. Yes, that can only help people.
Yeah. So in this context, I think it's very valuable what you shared with us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining our seventh webinar. It's like yesterday, but we just reached this milestone. We reached to the perfect number 7. Okay, Zsuzsanna, thank you for being with us today and for sharing these resources. This live video is recorded for everybody that wants to rewatch it or send it to a friend, and also they can reach out to you. Yeah, you have the email address. If you signed up for this webinar, or if you didn't sign up for this webinar, please make sure you go to our page oratechhub.ro and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get a newsletter most probably next week with the presentation and all the details that was shared in our meeting today. So thank you everybody for joining us today. For those of you that watched live, and also if you watch this later, we invite you to go to our Facebook page and like our page, Orada Tech Hub, and also go on YouTube and follow us there, because we'll come back with a different subject. We try to have here different people that have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience from the technical field or technical field related, as we had today. We didn't talk about something very technical about some coding and stuff like that, but we talked about a company that works with in the technical field. So again, thank you for joining us today. I want to thank our sponsors for making it happen. And until next time, have a great day.